We are now recording to the cloud. Okay, question one more time from Michelle. April, when you first started as a safety advisor, what are some of the challenges that you faced?
So when I first started was in 2003. I was 23 years old. I had a 3.5-year-old son. I was a single mom and answered an ad like how most of us have. Um, and going in, I never had done direct sales. I actually had a nursing degree, I have a bachelor's in business degree. And, figuring out and balancing it between who is going to be with my son. Also coming into a male dominated industry, you know, I came into an office that was totally dysfunctional. I should not be where I'm at today whatsoever. Um, and honestly, I started in February 7th of 2003, and I didn't even run my first office appointment until April of 2003. I literally had to prove myself. So I was setting my own appointments, running them personally, and that was the challenge is getting these guys to understand that I was like taking names. You know what I mean?
That's awesome, man. And absolutely, you know exactly what you mean. So that's really, really good. Second question. Did you ever feel people did not take you seriously being a woman in this industry?
Absolutely. That's every day. All the girls that are on this call, I want you to understand something is that we are in a male dominated industry. And we have to be careful how we get ourselves labeled or anything. And I have these questions all the time with other girls that are in our industry, in direct sales industry. And, you know, so yeah, because we have different things. We got to work, we got to have dinner on the table, we got to still be a mom, we still got to be a wife. We have to do all these different things. But you know what is so great? I love hiring moms. I love hiring single moms because we know how to plan and we know how to cover the objections. Here's another thing is that we're the best trainers. We're the best, stage advisors. We don't get kicked out of homes. And we also have the passion in this industry. It's just phenomenal. And I really think that girls should rule the rules, and we kind of do.
Absolutely awesome. That is perfect. Really good answer to that. Lisa would like to know, what would you suggest a new safety advisor concentrate on their first month in the field?
Trust your dealer. Trust is something that is so important to me. If they say to you, hey, we need to work on this part, whether it's your alarm kill or your phone close or this or whatever it is, they're not saying that because they're hyping on you or griping on you. They're telling you that because that is the part that they feel you are struggling with. But a lot of times we look at that as criticism. And let me tell you, there's something fun about leaving a house after you make a protection, right? It's not very fun when you leave a house with no protection, no referrals, no anything. So trust the process, trust the people that have paved the way. It's very, very difficult sometimes when we're being critiqued. I mean, I can tell you that I hate being critiqued, but I also will reflect on it and go, you know what, I do need to work on that. Or yeah, I definitely have to make sure that I'm teaching this more or doing this more, or understanding and listening to your clients inside their home. They're going to tell you why they need this, but instead we're kind of in there in our own objection. Also, brand new people, we're going in there with money in our eyes, and that's okay, because it's okay to make above average income. We don't need to apologize for that. But let me tell you, the first time that you have a client call you and tell you that this changed their life, or that the water saved this, or this, all of a sudden there's going to be something that happens in your heart that now you're there to protect people. And oh my gosh, you're going to make just abundance.
Excellent. That's awesome. Okay. Similar to the same question, Lisa would like to know, what would you suggest a dealer focus on their first month open?
People. The 3 P's, people, places to go, and product. You have to have people, you got to have places for them to go, and you got to have product. I mean, so inventory is king with me, right? It's huge. You got to have inventory, but then you got to have people. So you got to get people in, whether you media hire, recruit, whatever it is, you got to get people in there, right? And you got to have places to go. So If you're just opening, you don't have any marketers, you don't have this, then you're it. And you know, I just don't say that. I do it. If I don't have any phone staff in, guess what? I'm setting the appointments. If we have no safety advisors, I'm running the appointments. If, you know, we're training, you just, those 3 P's: people, places, and product.
Fantastic. Really, really good. Okay, now I'm not really sure how this question is, so I'm going to try to word it the way it's written. But if you could start your GHS career tomorrow, knowing what you know now, what would you do differently?
Come over in January of 2018 instead of June of 18. No, I think I came in exactly the right time. You know, it's not that I wasn't doing good in my old company. What I was with Filter Queen. I was actually doing very good, but their direction where they were going and wasn't the right thing. And with you, Carmen, you know, talking to me once a week, I went for a meeting and I came back and I said to myself, you know what, there's nowhere for the opportunity for me to open up people, because in this stage of my life, I'm wanting to help people open. That's my goal, is I want to help as many people open, wealth build, and just make it happen. And with the other companies, they're just not that. And global, the opportunity to open is just, it's just phenomenal. And I think everybody should look at that. It's a lot of work. I will tell you, it is a lot of work, but trust the process. And I always say trust a lot, but you have to trust the process. But Lisa, good question. I wouldn't change anything. I did exactly what I needed to do.
Sweet. Fantastic. Okay, you have so much experience and success to share. Who do you turn to, or who are your top 3 go-to people for advice?
Oh, this is a really good question. And there's not 3, there's a few. So you never want to take financial advice from somebody that's broke. You don't want to take business advice from somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. So I make calls, or people call me. So it's funny because I can call Carmen and call him, ask him a question, answer the question, and hang up on him. So there's a few. I call Carmen, I call Bruce, I call Chris Putnam. I talk to Brett Granger almost every night, and I call Brandon Seacrest, and they're all going to give me different answers, but the same answers. And then, you know, you just got to trust your process and trust what to do and do it. But make sure that they're doing it correctly. Make sure that they have results. Make sure that they're, you know, positive people in your life. And this is what I tell my guys all the time. You are the average of the 5 most people that you hang out with. You are no better. You are no worse. So if you're hanging out with negative people, you're just going to be negative. If you're hanging out with positive people, you're going to be positive. If you want to learn how to make $1 million in a year, ask people that make $1 million in a year.
Awesome.
There you go.
That's exactly right. And it's 100%. You know, if you wanted to make $1 million, don't ask somebody making 50,000 how to do it. They don't know.
Right.
Cody, in your opinion, what makes a person successful?
Harmony. Good question, Cody. You know, so this is another thing with my safety advisors and me. You know, there's different goals, right? My goal is different than a safety advisor's goal. So I need to know what their goal is. So I would ask Sarah, like, Sarah, what is your goal? What is your goal that you want to achieve this month? And as long as I know what her goal is and she knows what my goal is, then we're going to have that trust to trust the process, you know, and if I help her achieve that goal, she's going to help me achieve my goal. And then that success comes in. Demos ran is huge in my office. I know we're going to get protections. I mean, honestly, I would have to look it up how many protections we get, but I'll tell you how many demos we ran. So that's just got to trust the process.
Absolutely perfect. And that's absolutely right on the money. What motivates you daily?
Winning. And the fear of winning. I love winning, but I hate losing more.
Okay, that's a really good answer and right on the button. If you can change one thing from your past experience, what would it be?
Oh man, you know, I was just, you know, these last few days of all these calls have been awesome. And I actually asked my husband last week, what are some things that you regret? And I'm listening to him, and there's nothing that I would change in my past, nor do I have any regrets on anything. because everything happens for a reason. It's not for us to know that reason, but it's for us to learn from that reason. And, you know, just with experience and with time, nothing surprises me that happens in the world or in my office on a day-to-day basis. So there is nothing, but you got to learn from it. And keep that in your memory bank. So if you start seeing that happen in your own personal life or in your office, that you know exactly how to handle that situation.
Awesome.
Good question.
That's really good. What part of the demo is the most important to you and why?
Warm up. They got to like you. They're not going to listen to you if they don't like you. You can have the best alarm killer, you can have the best walkthrough, you can have the best clothes, you can have all of this kind of stuff. But if they don't like you, and you got to remember it's 80% them and it's only 20% you, and you always got to be doing the warm up all the way through. And it's not about closing. Yes, closing is fun, but you got to be there for them, all right, and getting to know them, saying their name 1,000 trillion times. The sweetest sound that you can ever hear is your own first name, right? And asking a lot of questions and asking it again. And then waiting. You know, something that I had to learn back in the day was I would ask a question and want to answer it for them. So I had to learn how to put my hand over my mouth so I didn't answer it for them. But warm up, they got to like you. If they don't like you, they're not going to get from you. They're not going to get any referrals from you. They have to like you.
Fantastic. That is awesome. What are some of the things you're going to do to stay motivated at this time?
So last Tuesday, we started with, Chris Roberts. We had David Carter. We had Brett Granger. We had Brandon. We had Chris Putnam. We had Bruce. And they're all telling you different things that they've done in their careers to help them stay motivated. And my husband doesn't like it, but FedEx comes to our house. And like right now, I'm reading Relentless that Brent, said to. And oh my gosh, it's like in your face. And I'm telling you guys, read this book. I got Brandon Stout's book, Can't Hurt Me. And I'm excited to read that. But I keep ordering these different things. And some of them I've read before, but I don't know what happened to them. And I'm rereading them. But keep in your mind for everybody that's, waiting, this is a perfect time because there's so much opportunity for you to learn like a really great display. And record yourself, write down it is what you want to do. But gosh, read these. Relentless, oh my gosh. If I could choose any book right now that I think everybody needs to read, it's that.
Fantastic. That is really, really good. What is one super important thing about marketing and phone rooms you would like to share with everybody and why?
So, you got to have appointments. You got to motivate, but you got to have the right person. We're so blessed to have Jen. I don't know if everybody knows this, but Jen and I go way back. We went to school together, and then she came in for an interview, and she is just dominated. And, but training and understanding their frustrations. Sitting on the phone for 6 hours, 4 hours, getting hung up on. But one thing about them is you got to give them praise. They're doing things that we don't want to do. We don't want to set those appointments, but they do a good job. And reminding them that they're such a vital part. I call them my queen bees because without it, we'd be having to do it. And they're phenomenal. Having a really good marketing team is just really good. But going in there and praising them, that's so key.
Awesome. Really, really good. Now, there's a lot of questions that are going to be similar to each other, but there's still a little bit of a twist. So that, they're probably still good to be answered. TJ wants to know, what's the one thing you recommend for any safety advisor who seeks your level of success?
Start from square one and trust the process. I'm not going to ask anybody to do anything I wouldn't do, right? But a lot of times what happens is people want the end result, but they don't want to do all that middle stuff. There's not days that I liked working 12 hours or 16 hours, but then there's times that you just have to, but a lot of times what happens is people will say, well, gosh, I want to be the number one, or I want to do this, or I want to have, 100 demos a week or whatever it is. They don't want to put the work to it. So buckle down, and make it happen. And just see it, know it, trust it, and don't give yourselves way outs. And what I mean by that is, well, they're just lucky, or this or that. And I have people in my life, in my personal life, that will tell me, Phil, you're just lucky. You get to do all these things and you don't have to worry about it. But I do what others won't, so I can do what others can't.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right on the button. That's really good. Okay. Hillary would like to know, what are some of the inspirational things you've learned along the way to help you remind some of the newer safety advisors why it's important to keep pushing at a time like this?
So this is so brand new. And one of the things most of us on here is we're hard-headed. All right. We don't like to be told no. We always have to be right. That's what I found as a common denominator for all of us in the Lifesavers, whether you're brand new or you've been with Carmen for a while, you've been in direct sales for a while, it doesn't matter. We're all those types of, qualities, which is great qualities. One of the things is we have no control right now. And that's the hardest thing for me. We don't have control. People are telling us we have to be in our house by 9, by 8, whatever it is. We can't go to work. We can't do this. We can't do that. And we're used to telling people, watch me, watch what I can do. So right now is get on that peak training. Read these. Yesterday I had somebody that I was talking to, and they were having problems in their personal life. And I gave them, I want you to go, download the 5, love languages. And they called me back. They're like, it's a 5-hour long thing. I'm like, what else do you got to do? They're like, nothing. I'm like, then there you go. Listen to it. And, so all of that stuff that we've wanted to do, now we're in control of, like, doing your junk drawers, cleaning out your closets, getting good at your demos, getting on these calls, getting on these marketing calls, all this stuff that we just usually don't have time for. And my gosh, if we get to go back May 1st, and the world has no idea what global health and safety is about to accomplish. We're not going to be like the little secret, because we've been pressed in our house, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Carmen, I hope you're ready. Hello? Hi.
I'm still here.
I
Anybody
can
else?
still hear you.
My bad. I muted myself so that, because there's noises in the background. Okay, so this is a good one from Sarah. What is your favorite close?
Oh, so, she knows this, but it's funny. Okay, so, when I get on the phone with somebody, if I'm phone closing or if I'm in the house, so, and I'll do a phone close, right? A lot of people, money is an objection. And if you go into somebody's house and you tell them that $4,000 isn't a lot of money, I don't care who you are, they're just going to laugh at you. And if you want to argue with them, and if you want to say, well, what's your family's, life worth? And, that's something that I would recommend not saying, because if you come off not saying it correctly, it just is, you're just going to have an argument. So I bring it out. I know these are expensive, and listen, I'm not here to tell you how to spend your money or anything, but and I understand. But I'd rather justify the price once by giving you guys a really great system in your house than apologize for later for it not working. And with our warranties and how this is going to last, if I had all the money in the world, I'd buy this for everybody except for like 4 or 5 people. You really have to be a horrible person for me to buy this for you. And that's what I say. And
That's awesome. That's really good.
A lot.
What is your 1-year goal from today?
Okay, so like to finish getting Cody Britcher opened, like to finish getting Sarah opened. I like to help Brandon get Scott opened, Bill, get things going on in Lansing. I mean, bless his heart, he just opened, and then, this all happened. I mean, he's going to learn a lot. Alexis, I'd like to get her into training, get her open, and, dominate Michigan.
Good answer. Good answer. I like it. Who's your favorite motivational speaker and why?
Oh, Zig Ziglar all the way. Oh my gosh, Zig Ziglar all the way. But I have to say, in global health and safety, when Chris Roberts talks, he's a really, really great talker, and he's a feeling kind of talker. So anytime he puts anything out, how he uses his tones, how he uses his voice inflections, what he says, you personally believe him. When he's even talking on the video calls, you truly believe that he's talking right to you. But the past is Zig Ziglar, see you at the top. I mean, you literally have to have a really good attitude before anything can happen, because it's not about skill, it's all about attitude in this business.
Absolutely. That's great. That's really, really good. Bill would like to know, what is your greatest achievement within International Lifesaver, and what is your greatest achievement within your career so far?
Okay, so my career so far, all right, my very first award I ever won was Demos Ran Award, and I won that in 2003, and I liked the feeling of winning those awards. So that kept me going. But my greatest accomplishment, there's actually a few, so I can't put one at the other. One is understanding that I knew what I needed to do. That December, time that you came in there, and it was just, okay, let's do this. But another accomplishment is, I had Bill Sidock, Brandon Stout, and Cody Britcher all in the office at the same time. And just all different personalities, but so headstrong, and knowing, oh my gosh, this was such a gift and such a blessing at the same time, that I got to get these guys out. And just, actually Carmen calling you and saying, let's figure this out, because we got to, these guys are so ready. And they are. So they are some of my biggest accomplishments.
That's awesome. That's really, really good. Okay. To go back to just what you were just saying there, what many people don't know or remember, because a lot of people do also know, is that in December 2018, Brett wasn't the only person who was ready to quit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Who else was ready to quit, and how did they turn it around to kick some butt?
So in December, Carmen came because I had brought people over from the other business, and I had moved my office. I had done everything in place. It just wasn't working. And what I was realizing is I wasn't checking my own numbers, and I'm a huge numbers person, and they just weren't working. And so I literally got rid of every single person in my office. I ended up bringing somebody back, but ended up getting rid of them later. And I just started learning the business, and I thought I had to be so serious. And I realized that global health and safety, it's a fun business, and these guys are just amazing. And then in January, I went to London. I believe that's where we were, was in London. And I listened to David Carter talk, and I was pissed off about even being there, honestly. Another meeting. And it was 5 minutes before I was getting ready to leave, and David Carter had brought out his training manuals. And I asked him, I said, well, when do you show the OmniShield system? And he goes, what are you talking about? And I'm like, in training. I'm looking at your day 1, day 2, day 3, and you don't have it. And he goes, well, they've already seen the demo. And it was that moment that I had an aha moment in the 2-hour drive home, that I said, I am doing my training on how he does his training, which was totally opposite. And that was my aha moment. And then it just took off from there. I just had to trust the process. I wasn't trusting the process. And that's what I would say.
Absolutely perfect. Okay. This is one of your questions actually being thrown back at you by Bruce. Who's your favorite Canadian?
Tim Horton.
You don't even know who Tim Horton was.
1969, he developed Tim Hortons coffee. And if it wasn't for Tim Hortons coffee, I don't know where I'd be.
Okay. Well, to give you a little bit later story, Tim Horton was a hockey player.
Well, then Tim Hortons is my favorite hockey player of all time. No, Bruce and Carmen had became family. And this is me being serious. And even though they are brothers and they are from the same parents, they are so different. And honestly, this is something that I thought about last week. When Carmen, when you're being hard on me, and I see you being easy on other people, I'll call Bruce, and Bruce will be like, well, you can do better. You're like the mom and dad, you know, and, Carmen's like in your face and Bruce is, in your face, but in a softer way. And it's funny how I'll ping pong off of you.
Yeah, when dad doesn't give you what you want, go to mom.
Yeah, I
Okay.
did.
What is your mindset when phone closing?
So I don't know how people phone close driving. I don't know how people phone close in their house because I have total destruction in my house, like such as, I have a 4-year-old and now I have a 3-year-old. I have, my husband, I have dogs, I have, so I'm phone closing in the office and it has to be quiet in the background. I mean, you hear me tapping on my desk, I'll snap at people like in my fingers. But what I do is I make sure I know the people's names and I'm visualizing that I'm there with them. I find out how I know them even from the phone calls. I find out different things. It's funny, and it's a lot of times with rookie associates, right? They don't get all that information, and I'll get it from them, and that's what I do. I totally visualize that I'm sitting there with them, and I make that friend real quick because I know how important it is.
Awesome. That's really, really, really good. But what most safety advisors and dealers on here realize, obviously, is that most objections we get from customers aren't real objections. They're just excuses
Right.
to not make a decision today.
Absolutely.
What is your favorite question to find the real reason why people have not already made the decision or why they're not buying today?
What is my favorite question?
Yeah, to find the real reason why the people aren't making a decision today.
So this is a really, really, really good question. If I ask it wrong, I know as soon as I ask it wrong, because a lot of times we'll say, well, why aren't you getting this today? And they're going to tell you, well, we're getting a new roof. The dogs need braces. My cat needs heart surgery. I mean, they're going to, if you ask it wrong, right? And, so finding out, if they needed the 8 or the 9 or the 10 or the 12, right? Because sometimes safety advisors will say, well, in a 1,200 square foot home that they need 20 life-saving sensors. And I mean, that's a lot of money, right? So what I do is I ask them, so Carmen, let me ask you a question. How big is your home? I mean, how many bedrooms? Is it upstairs, downstairs? And what I start doing is I start drawing their house out and I start saying this. Now, Carmen, how many bedrooms do you have?
I got 4.
You have 4. And who's in the 4 bedrooms?
There's me and my wife in one. There's my grandson Cole in another. My son in another. And the 4th one is a guest room.
Okay. And I write those down. So we definitely would want to protect Cole, correct? We definitely want to protect you and Brenda. And if you start saying their names, right? And do you have an attic in your home?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So we definitely would want to put one there. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. Okay. Yes. That based on what you said. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And now is your house like an open floor plan or is it cut off? So this is what I do.
The main floor is open floor plan. The top bedrooms are all cut off obviously separately, but the open floor plan in the main room.
Absolutely. Now, is your garage attached?
Yes.
Okay. So we definitely want to put a heat there. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. Then where else would we want to put a heat? I mean, we have your attic, your garage.
My furnace room.
Your furnace room. Okay, very good. So this is what I start doing. I'm like literally, you guys, I'm drawing a map of their house. I'm putting the names and I'm asking them these questions. Now, another thing is I put them on speakerphone. I want to talk to Brenda and Carmen, right? And I'm going to ask them, different questions. Also, with that 10 life-saving sensor, package, Carmen, you get 2 of those hero gifts. And our hero gifts are the fire extinguisher, the fire blanket, and the burn kit. Which 2 did you and Brenda love the most?
She really liked the fire blanket, and I really liked the burn kit.
Okay, and okay, and do you have fire extinguishers in your home?
We have one. It's in the garage.
All right, and where's the best place?
I know that now.
Where's the best place to put that fire extinguisher?
Your boy Cody did a great job in my bedroom.
In your bedroom. Will you do me a favor? Will you give Cody a high five?
I will.
Good job, Cody. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that's how I close. And then I start drawing it out. I don't care if they're saying to me that they're not interested, but then, a lot of times we can flip them over because now they're visualizing with us where these need to go.
That's really, really good. You said something there. So this is a question that I'm just on the top of my mind. You mentioned you get both customers on speakerphone. How important is it to talk to both customers when you're phone closing as opposed to just one of the customers?
It's so huge for all the phone closers. Because if you're just talking to, for instance, Carmen, especially brand new safety advisors, Tyler, they like to talk in the background. They like to talk, and here's the thing is, if I'm talking to you, Carmen, Brenda's talking to that safety advisor, they're not listening to anything. And then this is what they're going to say is, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to talk to my wife and we'll get back with you. Well, they're not going to say everything that we just said, right? So I want to talk to them both because what Brenda wants to protect is totally going to be different than what Carmen's going to protect, right? And then you can kind of figure out who wants it more, right? I mean, I've done it before where I've talked to the wife and I said, okay, if it's up to you, would you be getting it? Yep. All right, great. Now let me go ahead and talk to your husband, right? Yeah, we can do those kind of things, but it's so much easier if you just put them both, because when you start drawing out that map of where these need to go, especially if they're right on the fence, then the wife is going to go, well, we definitely need smoke down in the basement, or we definitely need this, or we need a water here. They're going to start telling you, right, where it is.
100%. That's awesome. And that's exactly so true. You know, making sure that both customers are hearing what you have to say, so you don't have that, I'll talk to my husband or I'll talk to my wife, and then you have another objection you got to overcome.
I don't remember who it was when we were at that first convention, but they got up on the stage and I could see them if I saw them, I know who it is. But, you know, pricing is always going to be an objection. I mean, it is. And they were talking about how they, you know, went into a house, they needed 15 life-saving sensors. And the guy was like, never. And, you know, well, how many do you think you need? And they closed on 8, right? So your plan is going to be definitely my plan. All right. And this is another close. If let's say that they need 10, but they only want to do 8, it's not up to you to play God to figure out what rooms aren't going to be protected. It's up to those clients, because when they say, well, you know, where do you think? Well, what room don't you want to be protected? Because your plan is my plan.
Absolutely. That was Brent Denson, by the way.
Brent Henson. Thank you.
Denson. And yeah, he loved it. Okay. Well, you don't like my plan. What's your plan?
What's your plan? Oh my gosh. That has been one of my best closes since with Global Health and Safety.
Brilliant. How long have you been in direct sales?
Since 2003. So I just celebrated 17 years.
Wow. You don't look old enough to be in the 17 years. That's awesome.
I love you. I love you.
Okay. What do you contribute to your ability to always bounce back to the top?
This is a Brucey. You know, to stay on top, you just have to have a mindset, and but you can't be number one in your family. You can't be number one in business. You can't be number one in this. You have to have certain harmonies, right? But wherever my attention is. So I knew my numbers were going to be dropping, opening up people, because that's where my focus was, right? And being at the top, I mean, that's a level that you have to look at. I mean, if I want to beat Brett, I'm going to have to be at his level. And that's having, you know, 30 safety advisors, part-time, all of that kind of stuff. And I mean, honestly, like he just outruns us. It's not that he's a better closer. It's not that his people are better. I mean, he has a phenomenal team there with Taylor and Sue and Chad and you know, Brandon up in Brandon. I mean, they're just, I mean, he just has a really, really, really strong, good team, but he is relentless.
Absolutely. No question about that. Now, you are always been a super competitive person. Where do you think that comes from?
Since birth. I competed with my brother. I competed in softball. I compete all the time. I am so competitive. It's not even funny. Sometimes I think it could be a strength and a weakness. But most of us that are on this call, we're super competitive. We're competitive with each other. We're competitive on everything. And it's a good thing. Don't look at it as a weakness, but be competitive with yourself. Push yourself. You know, I mean, do everything. Feel it, see it, visualize it, know it. If you want to have 50 demos ran, I mean, what do you got to do? I mean, you just have to like persevere and push it, right? It's just not going to happen. You got to like literally go and F and make it happen.
Fantastic. Oh, by the way, if there's anybody on this call who has a question that they've thought about while we're going through here that maybe wasn't get answered, just message me directly in the chat at the bottom. That makes it be a little bit easier. Okay, what would you feel is your greatest strength in the OmniShield business?
Perseverance, and the ability to know how to do everything. This is not that I want to do it by myself, because I have a really good team and it doesn't matter. You know, I have Sarah right now that is pushing through, and gosh, she's just going to kill it. Bill and Brandon and Cody and just all these people that have came through and listening to other people. But my biggest strength is that I want to beat myself. I want to beat myself that I did the following month and go to it. The prize. I don't care if the prize is a plaque or if the prize is a trip. I mean, I just want to win. And that's my biggest strength, is I want to win. I love winning.
That's fantastic. And listen, that shows every single day. If you were stuck for new ideas, who would you call and why? Question?
I call Carmen, Bruce, Chris Putnam, Brett Granger, and Brandon Seacrest.
Okay, that I'll answer that one there. This is good. What do you love most about the OmniShield business?
The wealth opportunity. You guys, I teach wealth building because it's not about the money you make, it's about the money you save. And I shared with Carmen some of the stuff that I've been able to save and do with RFFC. And honestly, for the dealers on here, I pay more for a unit than you do because I make it that way. And the reason why is because I have it go into a savings account. I don't trust myself to go put that money away or anything like that, because it's not going to happen. But the wealth building, you guys, it's just, and you don't have to be a stage advisor for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years to go out and be that dealer. I mean, do it. Just do it.
Fantastic. That is awesome. What's the most important thing you want to teach your boys about life?
Hard work. So my son Dakota, he just turned 21 Monday, and without my help or without mom's money, he went and built his own first house.
Wow.
I mean, being 20 years old and doing that, now I know he's doing that to show the world that he can do it. And so his hard work and dedication, that's awesome. And I want my boys to do that. I don't spoil them. I never, well, some people might say I spoiled Dakota, but I was pretty tough. I'm a pretty tough mom. And so I want them to have hard work and perseverance and whatever they want to do in life. But it's life is easy, but it's not. And so hard work. Yeah, that's a good one.
Fantastic. That's awesome. What is your favorite number?
5.
Why?
I just love the number 5. I hate the number 4. So my first year as a representative, I was $4,000 away from hitting $100,000. Now you got to remember, this is in 2003. I literally made $96,000 as a safety advisor. As a representative. And number 4 has always been, there's 4 people ahead of me. Last year, I was number 3 as a dealer. I don't know where I'll end up this year just because of I quit making orders, in the middle of March, right? I just don't like the number 4, but I love the number 5 because you're the 5 averages, the 5 most people I hang out with. 5 is just such a good number. 5. Love 5.
Okay, sweet. What is your favorite story from when you were in the field?
My favorite story in the field. So I don't know everybody well enough to tell some of my favorite stories. But without me swearing and everything like that, I'm doing my best on that. But some of my favorites. So this is what I teach too. 90% of the homes that we're going to go into, they're going to say these next things to you. And I promise you, if they don't say them, I want you guys to be scared. So as soon as you walk in, they're going to say, I'm not buying anything. I want you to say to yourself, yes, because that means they thought about it, right? They're telling you, I'm not going to buy anything. Well, why would they buy something they've never even seen? So that means that they had a conversation before you got there. I don't care how great this stuff is that they're showing us, we're not buying anything. And they're going to say that to you. So my favorite is this lady was kept on saying that to me over and over and over again. And I said, great, I'm not going to show you the prices. I'm not going to do anything. I got done and, she's like, all right, what's the price? I'm like, I don't know. Remember how rude and mean you were when I first got here? Nope, I'm not letting you buy anything. It was hilarious. Her husband finally said, go get the checkbook. But I want them to say that to you. I mean, be scared if they don't. But 90% of them are going to say they're not going to buy anything, and love that, because that means they're thinking about it. Use that as a great thing, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. That's really, really good. Okay. I got a question from myself. I watched the movie Facing the Giants last night.
Did you love it?
Who haven't watched the movie, it's highly recommended. It's on the YouTube channel. So it's $4.99 Canadian to rent it. I'm not sure what it is in America. But in Facing the Giants, the message I took, the message that they really promote was, if you win, praise God. If you lose, praise God.
Absolutely.
And I took that to mean, because I am a certain religious person, but I'm not a religious person in the terms of religion. I have my own thoughts about God. But to me, it was win, be positive. Lose, be positive. You just got to have that same type of attitude. Of the entire movie, of all the messages, which message resonated with you the most and why?
So I posted the video clip of it with the International Lifesavers, My People, and that's Prepare for Rain. But yes, it's faith, family, fire protection, right? You got to have faith, and I don't care what you believe in, but you got to have faith. You got to have your family, whatever it is that you love, like unconditionally. But and I love the fire protection business. I mean, it's so much fun. But prepare for rain. And there's a clip I posted. 2 farmers, right? They're having a drought. Exactly what's going on right now, you guys, right? We can't work, we can't do this because, of this virus. But one farmer is preparing his field because they were having this huge drought. Another farmer said, well, as soon as it starts raining, then I'm going to prepare my fields. Who do you think was blessed with all the vegetables in the harvest? The one that was preparing. You have to prepare for rain. You've got to prepare right now. And that's preparing for rain. And you can YouTube preparing for rain clip, and you're going to understand what I mean. And you don't have to be super religious. It's a religious kind of movie, but it's not. It's an everyday thing. And let me tell you guys, Facing the Giants is so good. And David Carter the other day said, on the global call to watch Overcomer. And so Jimmy and I, we watched it, and me and him were both in tears. We were both laughing, crying. Like it's about perseverance and overcoming. And yes, so preparing for rain is perfect for right now. To answer the question, to whoever answered that, what should we do right now? Watch that clip, watch that movie, and get your mind right.
Absolutely. Well, listen, April, I want to thank you very much for your time this morning. Absolutely awesome as always. Great answers. So some really great questions. I'm sure a lot of people got a lot of things out of it, which is really, really awesome. I guess I'm going to finish this off with, what would you like to say to the International Lifesavers as we sign off today?
You guys, none of us have experienced what we're going through right now. None of us. And, the control thing, but, we're really, really, really strong team. And, we know how to get a hold of each other on Messenger, on this, on that, and stay connected with people. I don't care if it's a really quick, like, hey, what you doing? There's like a list of things that I want to talk to Sarah about. There's a list of things that I want to talk to Cody or Butcher about. And, and don't think, well, I have 30 days to do it. I mean, do it now. Don't wait. Just do it now. And turn off the news. Because if you listen to the news, the sky is falling, everybody's dying, and, my son just had a friend of his pass away from this virus last week or earlier this week, and his dad passed away the week before. And that mother is going through the hardest thing that I would never want to be a part of. And I'm thankful that I'm not her. Right. And my heart is out to her. So right now, just stay in such a good mind frame, read these books, get your mind right. Get on these calls with Carmen, get on these calls with Global Health and Safety. They're just, it's going to make you so much stronger. A while ago, and I'm sorry to take up a little bit more, they did a study with athletes, and they put them in machines and monitors, and they had them run their race. They had them, play that football game in like a virtual thing. And even though they were sitting there, their brain was still functioning like they were in that race. They were in that mindset. They were playing that game. And that's what we have to do. We have to be in such a good mindset just to get it done. And you guys, we're over gonna come this. We're gonna prepare for rain. And that's what we're doing right now. And we're just gonna dominate. In International Lifesavers, you guys, we dominate. People are scared of us.
Absolutely. That's awesome. I love the message, April. Respect as always. Great job this morning. I think everybody really enjoyed it. Some great questions. Everybody who sent in the questions, fantastic. That was really, really fun. So today's prize is going to be a copy of the Overcomer video in Blu-ray. If you spend time visiting offices, I'm going to tell you one thing you'll see guaranteed every time. You go to the top offices, they always have a library of motivational books, business books, sales books. They also always have a library of videos. In the old days, and some of them today have CDs. In the old days, we used to have so many books of cassette tapes that we would sit there and listen to Zig Ziglar, listen to, to Anthony Robbins, listen to all of these things. It makes a big difference. So the bigger your library, the more you can help your team and also help yourself. And it's a funny thing. I'm sure, April, you've watched that movie, Facing the Giants, many, many times. Yeah. And it still probably interests you, and you probably see new things each time you do. So that's awesome. So there's 3 questions for today to win that video, and it's real simple. Number 1, yesterday, what did Bruce say was the most important thing he learned in his career? Number 2, in the interview between David Carter and Justin Wolbers, give me 3 of the 5 reasons why he joined OmniShield. And number 3, who wrote in the Challenger magazine, our biggest product in times like these will be blank. I want to know who wrote it and what was the word that they wrote. Our biggest product in time like these will be blank. Thank you very much for everybody for being on the call this morning. Thank you, April. Awesome job as always. Let's have a fantastic day. And thank you, everybody. For the dealers on the call, 1 o'clock, Brandon Seacrest and Devlin Coward are doing an amazing webinar on recruiting. Let's get on it. Have a great day, everybody.